there is another guy out there. Russell Westbrook isn't the only player in the NBA. Up until a couple of weeks ago, this guy pictured here I thought was the leader in the MVP race, but Russell Westbrook just took it to another level since then and has been playing rarefied basketball. But James Harden tonight had a triple-double in a victory against the Sacramento Kings. And he said after the win that, quote, "I thought winning was what this was about. I'm not going to get into depths, but I thought winning is the most important thing." And I don't know whether he's talking about just the celebration of NBA players or the NBA culture, or whether he's talking about in particular the MVP race. That's open to interpretation. The Rockets general manager, who has been openly campaigning for his point guard to get the award, has emphasized winning should be what it's about. And he talked about the 1961-62 MVP race. He puts out there Bill Russell won the award with his team going 60-20, while Wilt Chamberlain's team, the Philadelphia Warriors, went 49-31. That's also the year that he put up 50 points and 25 rebounds a game. And Oscar Robertson's club went 43-37. That's the year that Oscar averaged a triple-double, which was the only time that a player had averaged a triple-double in the season until this week. Now, this is my thing, though. It's not like Bill Russell didn't put up tremendous numbers himself in 61-62. This is a guy who wasn't particularly known for scoring. He wasn't a big-time scorer, but that was also the same year, 61-62, that he had his career high in scoring average. He averaged 18.9 points, which was career high. All right, to go with 23.6 rebounds per game and 4.5 assists per game. He shot 46% from the floor, which was one of his better seasons shooting the basketball. So, as I was saying, it's not like he was, just this guy putting up meager stats on a really good team with a bunch of Hall of Famers. The team did have a lot of Hall of Famers, but when you're putting up 19 points, 23.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, I think you are a candidate for MVP. Now, what I don't like about some people who talk about wins is they only talk about wins when it's in comparison to a certain player. All right, but then when they talk about the Golden State Warriors, then they want to talk about individual performance. I understand some people say it should be a balance, but let's not act like the MVP award hasn't gone to a player who wasn't from a superior team. Bob McAdoo won the MVP award in 1974-75, putting up gaudy numbers. I think he averaged 34.8 points per game that year, like 12 rebounds and 2.5 blocks or something like that. I know he shot over 54% from the floor that year, I believe. Yet, his club, the Buffalo Braves, now the Los Angeles Clippers, they only went 49-33 that year, which is about what the Thunder are going to go, something like that, maybe a few wins less. And then, of course, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 75-76, the very next year, had one of his greatest seasons. He averaged like 28 points, something like 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, over 1 steal, shot over 57% from the floor, I believe. He had one of his greatest seasons, but the club didn't even make the playoffs. They went 40-42. So sometimes when you're having one of those outstanding seasons, when you're just having one of those seasons where you're just playing exceptional basketball, that happens. It's not often, but it does happen. But many times it does come from, the award does go to a player who's the best player on the best team. Steve Nash won the MVP award one year. I think it was 2000 and what year was that? 5. And the Phoenix Suns won 62 games. But then there was other years where you could say, well, Kobe Bryant, he's putting up 35 points a game. Why doesn't he get the award? But they gave it to Nash again. You can make a case that maybe the award should have gone to a guy like LeBron James or Dwayne Wade at the time, but it didn't for whatever reasons. All right, so there's an argument to be made for different people. But the thing, and I think Jesse noted this in the video I just did about Russell Westbrook, and I agree with this. If you take the triple-double away from Russell Westbrook, let's say he averaged instead 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. Does that make what he did this season any less stellar? What really is the thing that I think really makes his case for MVP the best is that without him, now a lot of times people say this and it's become cliched, but truly without Russell Westbrook, I think OKC is a cellar dweller in the NBA. I truly believe that. There are so many games that OKC, off the top of my head, there's at least 6 games in the last 2 months that I can think of that Russell Westbrook single-handedly has been responsible for them winning the ball game. That's just 6. You take those games away, instead of them being 46 and 34, they're 40 and 40. And I know there's other games like that throughout the season where Russell Westbrook refused to have his team lose down the stretch. And that's why I think that he's the MVP. I think without him, they're like the Knicks. They're like the Knicks. They might win 30 games. Maybe. The triple-doubles are just the icing on the cake for Russell Westbrook. I think that was a personal... I do think it was a personal, even though Westbrook may not admit it, I think it was, or at least it became, a personal mission of his after he saw what he was doing. Okay? But I think that James Harden is having a tremendous season. And any other year, I think the award would be his. All right? But let's not kid ourselves, too. It's not like Houston is winning 70 games. All right? They're not even going to set a franchise record. All right? The franchise record is 58. The most they can win is 56. All right? They're having one of the better seasons in the history of their franchise, but it's not a historic year for them. Okay? It's a tremendous individual season for Harden. So while they will end up winning probably 8 or 9 more games than the Thunder, does that quantify, or does that, I should say, does that nullify the fact that Westbrook has been individually even more brilliant than Harden? Does the two things cancel each other out? You understand what I'm saying? Also, there's a lot of evidence to show that when Harden tries to go for triple doubles, oftentimes, when he's consciously trying to go for them, it seems like it actually hurts Houston. Whereas when Westbrook is doing it, it seems to help his club. They have something like a 75% win percentage when he does it. I don't know the numbers off the top of hand for Harden, but I don't think that they even have a winning record when he has a triple-double. I might be wrong about that, but anyway, to talk about Harden, by the way, this is the 21st triple-double of the season for James Harden, and this is the 30th of his career, and I believe that puts him just one behind John Havlicek in far fewer games. John Havlicek had 31 career triple-doubles in 1,270 ball games. So let's just put a little bit of historical perspective on what James Harden has done. But tell me what you guys think about James Harden and his performance tonight and this season.